Hello and welcome to eXp Explained for the UK. In this video, we're going to spend about 20 minutes or so explaining how eXp works, and how we've become the biggest independent estate agency business on the planet, and how we are the most agent-centric estate agency business both in the UK and around the world. Talking about the world, we are in 24 countries. We started in America in 2009, then we moved to Canada, then we opened in the UK and Australia in 2019. And since then, we've been opening all over the world, in Europe, in South America, in Asia, South Africa, and lots of other countries in between. We've been doing that for the last 3 or 4 years as we've been growing our global footprint. Because of that global footprint, we now have a global referral network. And so if somebody registers a property buyer with a property to sell in Florida, and they got a property to sell in Waterlooville, which was an example we had recently, that seller was referred to an agent who was close to Waterlooville to help sell that property. Not only that, we can also refer in country as well, and I'll talk about that a bit later. On top of that, we've got obviously a global community of experts. You know, if you want to learn from people all over the world of how they've started, built, grown, scaled their estate agency business in America, in Australia, in Canada, in India, in South Africa, in France, then you can tap into that knowledge, as well as obviously tapping into the local knowledge in the UK. And this was all started by a guy called Glenn Sanford, this guy here on the right. Glenn started eXp in 2009 and then continued to grow the business from there. Now, I've worked with Glenn quite closely. He is super quiet, super introverted kind of guy. He's not your typical chest-thumping American that us Brits think all Americans are. And it's a pleasure to work with him on a daily basis. So yeah, Glenn Sanford is the founder of the business. My name's Adam Day. I started an estate agency in 1997, and then I started a company in 2006 called Hatch, which was one of the first online estate agents in the UK back then. We were eventually acquired by the Connells Group, the largest and most successful property services group in the country, and that was in 2015. Between then and starting eXp, I did a couple of roles overseeing the new management takeover of Easy Property, and also overseeing the £100 million merger between eMove and Tepelo. We started eXp in 2019 from scratch with no agents, no infrastructure, no database, no nothing, and we're now the fastest organically grown estate agency business in the history of the UK, as well as being one of the top 2 or 3 estate agency brands in the UK based on listing numbers and sales agreed. So we've grown rapidly and exponentially since we launched 5 years ago in 2019. So I think one of the reasons we've been successful is because we've identified the challenge, and we've identified and provided a solution. And I believe, and I probably wouldn't have said this 5 or 6 years ago, I was in a different mindset, but actually the challenge of estate agency in the UK is there's low pay and largely poor service. And that's because we've not really seen basic salaries rise or commission rise in line with inflation. And so we've been paying people less in real terms over the last 10, 15 years. And so that's led to a poorer service, because either you get a poorer quality of person, or you have less money to invest in better products because you're spending money elsewhere or on other products and other suppliers that are, you know, a requirement or seen as a requirement within the UK property industry. And so the solution is empowering agents with more money and greater autonomy. So by having agents with their own name above the door, their own reputation on the line, their own accountability to that client, essentially, it creates a better experience for the client. And then by paying the agents more money, they have the opportunity, if they wish, to sell less properties while still making more money, therefore giving the customer an even better service because they've got more time after that client on a more one-to-one personal basis. And that's probably one of the reasons we've grown, you know, to be one of the top 2 or 3 estate agency brands in the UK, is because the consumer loves it. And this is the key point to our business, and some of the key points to our business. This is your business. So you work when you want. We make it about you with your name front and center, as we've done here with this example with Edward Peters, powered by eXp. It's always, as a solo agent, it's always your first name, surname, powered by eXp. We don't manage you. We don't set targets for you. You'll never hear us asking for pledges. You set your own commission, your own fees. You receive a minimum of 70% of the fee that you generate. Now, on top of that, on top of the basics of estate agency, you can also become a co-owner of eXp.World Holdings with Glenn Sanford, who I mentioned earlier, Leo Pereira, who's the CEO in the US, and myself. And the third way to make money is through creating a recurring lifetime revenue stream by bringing other agents to eXp and crucially helping them to succeed. And so there are 3 ways to make money with eXp. Before I get onto all of that and how that works, just to give you a bit of an idea of the tools and the resources. So just as a summary, we use local CRMs, we use local marketing platforms, we use in-country portals, and because of eXp's size and reach and buying power, we're able to get really good discounts from well-known suppliers around the UK that we just pass those discounts on to you, the agent. And so you're getting the buying power of a large corporate whilst being an independent, self-employed, personal estate agent, which is fairly unique, I would say, in the UK, completely unique, in fact, in the UK. We are cloud-based, so we have no offices, so you work from home. We do have a Regis deal, which I'll talk about in a moment as well, but we do have a cloud-based metaverse-style environment where you can come in and you can learn and you can collaborate, and so therefore there's no desk fees, there's no one pinching out paper clips or stealing the paper to take home for their printing endeavours at home, so which allows us to give more money back to you, the agent. Training and development is a key part for bringing agents into the business and helping them to get up and running quickly. We have a suite of videos when you first join, and then we have to help you with lead generation and other aspects of just general business. And then we do continuous learning all throughout the month. There's various learning sessions, various training videos that we put out there, various sessions that we put on in real time in a live environment that you can then benefit from. You don't have to do any of it if you don't want to. None of it costs any extra money. It's all part of the monthly membership fee. Compliance, complaints and billing, we help with all of that as well, all the boring stuff that we take away from you. So we deal with any complaints that you get with TPOS. We will liaise with you if there's a complaint from TPOS, and we'll advise as to what the next action should be, whilst always having your back. We use a tech platform to do biometric checks for anti-money laundering, know your customer checks, downloading title deeds, title registers, PEP checks. We have a hotline for AML, so if you're struggling or there's an edge case you're not sure about it, we've got a hotline that's open during working hours that you can phone a compliance expert to ask those questions. And this is all free, included in your monthly membership. We do charge the client for those checks, but it's free to you to use at the point of service, and it's the client, it's the sellers or the buyers that get charged for those AML checks. We provide a free e-signing platform where you upload the eXp terms of business, you add in your own commission, sole agency, multi-agency, all that kind of stuff, send it off to the client, they sign it, you countersign it, and that's all done digitally online. And we also chase any outstanding payments. We invoice the solicitor for the commission. I say we chase that commission if it's not forthcoming within a period of time, and if there's any bad debt, we chase that and get the lawyer, get the debt collectors on that as well, which very, very rarely happens. I can probably count on less than one hand, or certainly one hand, as to how many times that's happened in 5 years and thousands upon thousands of transactions. So not something we suffer from, and that is because of the size, because of the protection that eXp gives you, being a multi-billion-dollar company around the world, and that protection really stands out as a feature if something like that were to happen. And we have a letting service as well. So we do the pre-tenancy. So eXp are responsible for advertising the property on the portals, giving you a CRM. You are then responsible for finding the tenant, agreeing the deal, and then we give you all the pre-tenancy tools to move that tenant in legally and in full compliance. And we use Good Lord for that, which again is part of the service, free of charge. You pay an extra 60 quid a month for lettings to get all of those things, and then the payment is 30% of the moving fee, subject to £180 if 30% doesn't amount to £180. So we do offer lettings as well. So part of your monthly membership fee, which is £150 a month for the sales, and then an extra £60 a month for lettings, part of that monthly fee is your Loop CRM system. Now, Loop is a state-of-the-art CRM system. You manage it's a normal CRM, what you'd expect. There's matching buyers and sellers, there's diary entries, there's calendar entries, there's templated offer letters, memorandums of sale, brochures, emails. There's a mobile version, so you can work on the run, the booking viewings, adding offers, and all that good stuff. Now, one of the things that Loop do really well, on top of all the standard CRM stuff, is if you register a buyer with a house to sell and that property is in an area not that you don't want to cover or can't cover, then you can refer that to another EXP agent. This is exclusive to EXP. No other self-employed model in the UK has a system like this built into their CRM. And so you can earn referral fees from agents in another part of the country, and you can also offer referral fees so that you receive the referral within your Loop system. You can also opt out of it completely altogether if you want. Year to date, so I'm filming this in September 2024, we've generated over 400 referral leads across the country in, I'd say, 8 months, which is quite incredible, really. Generating potentially hundreds of thousands, millions of pounds in potential commission income just by pressing a button. And as I say, that is exclusive to EXP. You won't find that anywhere else at all. On top of that, we offer lead generation in terms of training. We offer guidance, support, and platforms in order to help you with your lead generation. So within the Loop system, there's an integrated touting platform which pulls in data of properties that are for sale with other agents. Now, that data does cost extra. It's another 130 quid a month for 3 postcodes at the time of filming. And you can pay for that data through Loop. You pay Loop, you don't pay EXP. We then provide you with multiple letters, touting letters that I've used in my entire career. I've built my entire career off of letter writing, touting, if you like. And so we'll give you those letters free of charge. We'll show you how to do that. We'll train you on how to do it. And all you've got to do is press the button, sign the letters, print, sign, stamp, send, and hopefully you'll get some phone calls back. We also give you training on all other aspects of lead generation. So things like door knocking, networking, social media, as I say, touting, even leaflet dropping. We'll do a training session on that before you join. We also are able to give you access to Facebook advertising campaigns at a discount. You have to pay for that yourself, but that is a discounted service that we can offer. And we also give you a personalized microsite, which is completely free of charge, included in the monthly fee, as well as an instant valuation tool, which is also free of charge. Now, the microsite is vitally important because it has your name above the door on the microsite. So it's Adam Day, powered by EXP. We are the only self-employed estate agency business that has a full microsite with multiple pages and your own name above the door, which means when the consumer is landing on your website, they're buying into you. They're not buying into the brand. If it's the brand's name above the door, it's the brand's business. It's not your business. That is a key part to all of this, is that this is your business. With most of, if not all of the other self-employed models in the UK, it's their business because it's their name above the door, not yours. We also have an automated email communications facility, which helps to streamline that communication to prospects. And we've got over 170 content ideas that you can use to create blogs, do videos, and general content for your social media, so you don't have to think about that. Of course, your properties are advertised on the portals, Rightmove, Zoopla, and on the market. Any buyer leads that come through via email are bounced straight into your inbox. Any phone calls that are into the portals go to Moneypenny. They answer the telephone calls 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they'll forward that the details of the caller onto you within about 2 or 3 minutes of that call happening. And then you can call that person back and answer their inquiry. And that, again, is all included in the monthly fee that we charge of £150 a month. We have exclusive global access to a company called Home Hunter. Home Hunter is a consumer-facing site which allows you to aggregate and put all of the properties that you find across all the portals into a basket. And so you have access to Home Hunter as well. Now, collaboration is a really big part of EXP, and one of the reasons why we've grown so quickly, because agents have learned off of each other. And one of the key tools that we use to do that is Workplace. So Workplace is a bit like Facebook. You can scroll and post and comment and like, and we have lots and lots of engagement on the Workplace agent group, where people are asking questions, giving answers, helping each other to build their business through no financial benefit for themselves other than just to help each other. And that's been a key part of the tool. It's far greater, a much greater tool than WhatsApp or any other kind of groups like that. This is a proper group that you can tap into groups all over the world, in America, in Canada, in Poland, in Dubai, and wherever you want to. You can refer business there. You can talk to agents in different countries. We've had agents that have moved to a different country using Workplace to collaborate and connect with agents in Spain, for example, to find out how they operate in Spain and how they can maybe move and live in Spain in the future. So, and carry on working at eXp. So Workplace is a huge tool for us and has been over the last 4 or 5 years. And on top of that, we have our virtual world. So our virtual world, eXp.World. Check it out now. Go and bookmark that and go and watch that after you've seen this video. You can create an avatar. And although it might seem a bit gimmicky, it is a genuinely good place to meet and collaborate and be trained in a live environment without having to put your camera on, no Zoom fatigue. You can turn up to a training session in the virtual world with your pajamas and a slice of toast and a cup of tea, and no one's going to see you doing that, but you can still tap into that and use the virtual world. We do a lot of virtual world training. We do meetings in the virtual world, and we do our onboarding in the virtual world. So you'll see what a great place it is as and when, if you decide to join eXp. If you don't want to use the virtual world, or you want to use the virtual world in collaboration with something else, in conjunction with something else, we do have a deal with Regus. Regus is one of the largest co-working businesses in the world, and you can access the shared business lounges through an app and an account number that we will give you as and when you join eXp with your eXp credentials. As and when you join eXp, you'll be able to access any Regus co-working business lounge in the world to go and get away from the kids and the summer holidays and all that kind of stuff. So so I've used a lot of the Regus that a lot of the agents around the UK do, and it's a great place to go and work. Not only that, you actually meet other business people, and potentially you might pick up some instructions from there as well. We have a lot of in-person events as well. You know, we might just be, look like we're remote, but we do a lot of in-person events. So you can access influencers and icon agent groups. We have mastermind sessions in person around the country on a regular basis. And we have a national eXp conference. We had one in Birmingham in July 2024. And as you can see here, we had Victoria Pendleton and Stephen Bartlett on stage giving their pearls of wisdom, along with the community of agents at eXp, all sharing their ideas and their knowledge and their hints and their tips to help everybody in the audience. There's also an international conference in the US each year. It's in Miami in October 2024 this year. It was in Vegas previously, and they are wild events, and you get to learn so much about how estate agency is done in other countries, and you get to connect with people all over the world. And on top of that, the sort of finale of the year is the Agent Annual Awards and Christmas Party in London. Last year we had Rob Beckett on stage doing some comedy, and the year before we had Tom Allen of what's the Bake Off Extra, The Apprentice You're Fired, I should say, fame. And so we try to up the ante every single year. We try to improve on that every single year, and so those are things that we do in person, as well as doing a whole load of other stuff throughout the year as well. Now, one of the key parts of this is this is your business. When I say it's your business, it's both your business from your estate agency business point of view, but you also own part of eXp as and when you sell properties and reach other various goals, which I'll talk about in a minute. Therefore, meaning that you have a big say in how eXp is run going forward, in some of the features we should be adding, how we can grow further, how we can help you to grow your business further, because you are a part owner in the business. And I'll talk to you about that in just a moment as well. The other thing that you can do as well with eXp, it's not just a solo agent model anymore. We did start out that way 5 years ago. We now have the ability to allow agents who are solo agents joining to build a brand, their own team, their own portal profiles, their own CRM profile, their own everything, while still being powered by eXp and getting all the features and benefits that I've just explained, even though you've got your team and you've got your own brand. So that is a way. We've now got 30 plus agents who have got their own brand around the UK, and they've all qualified through selling enough houses as solo agents in order to do that. So there's a way to grow even further through eXp to creating your own brand in the future. eXp Luxury is also an offering that we have. This is an extra price, but this will allow you to give the clients you're talking to the opportunity to turn left on the plane if their property is worthy of that, but also give yourself more exposure to those properties that are of that type, of that ilk, where they may be looking for a type of service which is a left on the plane type service, and that's what eXp Luxury does, which we can talk about separately if you want to know more about that. We also help with marketing assistance, so we'll create your business cards, your headed paper, your for sale boards. We've got seasonal leaflet designs, we have social media content ideas that you can copy and paste, and we have a whole bunch of stuff there that you can use when you first join eXp as well. We also use these various platforms, My eXp being the main one, where you can look up other agents, you can look up your partners, your business partners within eXp, and you can also see how much revenue share you've earned, which I'll talk about again in a moment. Of course, social impact, diversity, very, very important to us. I'll just point to this bottom part of the paragraph here. The other charitable events, I mentioned other events. So we do other charitable events like golf days, fun runs, sleep outs, and we do all that for Centrepoint. And I'm a big fan of Centrepoint. They are aiming to eradicate youth homelessness within the next 10, 15 years. And so we're big supporters of that, and anything we can do around that is we will certainly do that. And again, you can be part of that as much as you want, or not part of it at all if you don't want to be. It's completely up to you. Sustainability and ethics. Obviously, with our virtual world, one of the interesting things I found over the last 4 or 5 years is that we managed to open around 20 plus countries without getting on a plane. Now, obviously, we are a global company. We do have to get on a plane occasionally, but the eXp.World, so check it out, allows us to meet people in real time and without having to get on a plane. So we are very, very big supporters of that as well. So how do you earn your money? What money can you earn? So this is the first way to earn money, and I'll come on to the other ways of earning money shortly, but this is the very simple one. This is your commission splits on your property sales. Very simply, it's a 70-30 split. So if you sell a property, we collect the commission, you invoice us for 70% of that commission. Now, once we've received £24,000 worth of 30%, that means once you've done 80 grand of gross commission, then we've received £24,000 at that point. Then you've capped. That's why it says £24,000 cap. And after you've capped, you earn 100% of your commission, bar a flat £250 per transaction for the remainder of your year. As I mentioned earlier, it's £150 a month and £150 startup fee. And then, as I say, 70-30 up to the point when you do 80 grand of gross. At that point, we've received 24,000, and at that point, you receive the rest, all of your commission bar 250 for the rest of your year. When your year's up, you go back to the 70-30 again, and then you restart that cycle again. Now, there is the opportunity to earn in excess of 100%, which is explained on the next pages. I'm going to go through that right now, and that's through equity opportunities, which is the equity program and revenue share, the revenue share model. Now, it's a very well trodden phrase that to become wealthy, you should have more than one stream of income. You should have multiple streams of income. And look, I know it's not all about the money, but it certainly helps. And so eXp, you will find that we are the only business model in the UK and probably around the world that offers all of these different revenue streams and potential incomes for you. You may not look at these straight away. It may just be look at the 70-30 split and sell some houses. Completely get that and accept that, and actually I think that's a pretty good idea to do. But there is no other company that once you've established yourself in 6 to 12 to 18 months time where you can earn more money by doing other stuff with eXp. And that first thing is through equity awards. So eXp is a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ in the US, and so you can earn stock for your first house sale completing when you cap, and if you bring an agent into the business who sells their first house. Now, these awards vest for 3 years, which means you can't see the cash, you can't cash out for 3 years. And the agent you bring in on this one has to stay for 3 years as well. So that's the equity awards through the incentive program. The agent equity commission program is available to you right now, and the cash is available to you from day one. And so if you enroll in that voluntarily, you enroll opt-in for that program, then rather than receiving 70%, you'll get 65%. The 5% we owe you will go towards buying you stock at that price, but at a 5% discount. Now, around 55, 56% of agents take part in this program, and we've got agents that have built up, large amounts of money through just selling houses, opting into this program. And obviously, if the share price goes up, then the value of their stock will also go up. Obviously, if the share price goes down, then their share price will go down as well. So there is a risk there, but as I say, more than half of agents opt into this program because it is a little bit like a pension pot that you're saving up for the future. And then you can also earn the top agents, the top performing producing agents earn up to £16,000 in stock, and they are called icon agents. Now, to icon, you have to do cap plus 40 transactions within an anniversary year, within your anniversary year. If you do that, or you can do 400,000 of gross commission income. So cap plus 40 transactions or £400,000 worth of gross commission income. And if you do that within your year, you earn up to £16,000 worth of stock just gifted to you. £8,000 is gifted to you immediately. The other £8,000 is gifted to you upon cultural awards, like attending events, doing training sessions, and we will guide you on that. We've got a dozen or so agents that have earned this money, and this could potentially turn into a big pot of money in 10, 15, 20 years' time. The third way to earn money is through what we call revenue share. Now, revenue share is a model where you can earn money on agents that you attract into the business when they're successful. Now, as you can see here, there are 7 tiers to revenue share, which means you can earn on agents that you bring in, you can earn on agents that they bring in, you can earn on agents that they bring in, and so on and so forth. And you can see the numbers here, and it's a percentage of the revenue share pool. So I'm going to try and make this a bit simpler, and I'm going to explain the revenue share pool, single agent revenue share, and the cascading element of it. So the revenue share pool comes from our revenue. So it's not a profit share, it's a revenue share. And that's really, really important. We're sharing from the top line rather than the bottom line. So this is our revenue. This pie here is our revenue. 70% goes to the agent. 10% goes to a mixture of the agents who have capped, go out in equity, and other things of cost of doing global business. And then 20% comes to eXp. Now the 20% is this pie here, the pie down below. And so of that 20%, half goes to the company to pay for all of our bills, to pay for the portals, to pay for Moneypenny, to pay for the CRM, to pay company salaried staff salaries, and the 50% of that 20% goes towards revenue share. So basically 10% of all revenue goes into a revenue share pool. So how that works in practice is if you bring an agent into the business and they do a £10,000 commission, let's say, then £1,000, 10% of 10,000 is £1,000. £1,000 goes into the revenue share pool. And as that agent's sponsor, if you bring that agent into the business, we will pay you, eXp pays you 17.5% of that revenue share pool, £175 on a £10,000 commission. Now, if that agent that you've brought in goes and does £80,000 over the course of a year, they cap basically, then 10% of 80,000 goes into the revenue share pool, which is £8,000, and you would receive 17.5% of that across all of those transactions across the course of the year. So £1,400 if that agent caps. So you earn that 17.5% of the revenue share pool on every single transaction that the agent does that you've brought into the business. Now, here's where the magic happens, is the agents that you bring in have the same opportunity to bring agents in and earn 17.5% of their revenue share pool. So, but those agents that they bring in are on what we call your tier 2. As you saw, I showed you the 7 tiers of earning earlier on a moment ago, and this is tier 2. Now on tier 2 agents, you actually earn 20% of the revenue share pool. And so if, let's say you bring over Steve here, who joins the business, and Steve goes and does £80,000 worth of gross commission, you get 17.5% of what Steve does. That's £1,400 across the course of the year. If Steve then brings in Sally, and Sally caps, she hits 80 grand, then you get £1,600 across the course of the year on every single transaction that Sally does up to when she does £80,000, and so on and so forth into the 7 tiers. Now, it's quite complicated, not going to go into it in detail here, but suffice to say, it is a potential opportunity to earn a recurring residual income for life, for the rest of your life. It can be passed on to your children should the worst happen, and it's all contracted, it's all documented in black and white on the contract that you sign, that your loved ones can benefit from that revenue share that you've built should the worst happen. So these are the 3 ways to build your wealth within eXp, multiple streams of income multiple opportunities, and multiple ways to become, I know it sounds cheesy, but financially free. We do have some frequently asked questions. Can I join if I've got no experience in a estate agency? I'm afraid if you've been watching this for the last half an hour and you've got no estate agency experience, then you can't join. I should have said that earlier. We only allow people to join that have got at least 2 years experience in a estate agency in the UK. Other exclusive territories? No, you can work wherever you want. You can list properties wherever you want in the UK. You can sell properties wherever you want in the UK. Am I tied to eXp for a period of time? Well, kind of, but it's 2 weeks notice at any time. So you're not really tied. You can give us 2 weeks notice after a week. You can give us 2 weeks notice after 10 years. It's up to you. You take your properties with you. You take your database with you. You take your valuations with you. You take your instructions with you. The only thing that we keep is your pipeline, but we carry on paying out your pipeline even after you've left, whatever is due to you. So we carry on paying out the pipeline as per what is due to you. So no strings attached, 2 weeks notice, and you can move on. Conveyancing and mortgages. So we have central conveyancers and mortgage companies that we use, but you don't have to use them if you don't want to. You can use your own conveyancers, your own mortgage advisors if you want to. You can have direct relationships with them for referral fees, and we won't take 30% of those referral fees. That's completely up to you. You can use ours or use your own, completely up to you. How much will the initial setup be? So we estimate around £2,000. So it's £1,000 to get compliant, so your anti-money laundering, your TPRS, which my onboarding team will help you with, and it's probably around about £1,000 to buy your first 10 for sale boards, your first 2,000 letterheads, your first 500 business cards, that kind of thing. So around about £2,000 to get you estate agent ready. How much do you think I need to get my business up and running, and for how long? Great question, very difficult one to answer. I've had people who've started with literally nothing, but a couple of £1,000s to get them through in their personal lives. I've had agents that have started with £20,000 plus. I'm fairly confident that if I had £1,000 a month to spend in my local area, I would do quite a lot of damage over the first 4 to 6 months. I'd build in a big enough pipeline, and I would have started getting enough phone calls to warrant that £1,000 a month. Obviously, your living costs are your living costs, and you'll have to figure that one out yourself. But I think if you are following the process, being consistent, £1,000 a month would get you through. The average completion is in month 5 for the average agent. So that's what we've seen over the last 5 years. The average completion is in month 5. So bear that in mind when you're budgeting and thinking about how to take this forward. Final question I get asked a lot: will I be successful? How likely am I to be successful? Well, that is up to you. There are kind of 3 or 4 traits that I've noticed over the last 5 years of successful agents that have joined eXp. The first one is hard work. It doesn't get any simpler than that. If you get up at 6 in the morning and start working at 6:30 and you finish at 7:30 and you put your heart and soul into it and you work every hour, you're likely to be successful. If you are consistent during those hours with your prospecting, with calling people back, with following up leads, with following the process, which is the third one, then you'll be successful. So consistency, hard work and consistency are the 2 most important things. Follow the process. We have tools, tips, techniques, strategies. We've seen it all. We know how to work. We know how to get people set up. We know how to get people set up quickly through social media, through touting, through door knocking. So follow the processes that we teach you, and you will be successful along with your hard work and your consistency. And the fourth, probably underrated, is resilience, because there's going to be a month, probably month 3, 4, 5 or 6, where you're going to want to throw in the towel. You're going to hate every moment of it. You're going to wonder where your next phone call is coming from. You're going to wonder where your next instructional valuation is coming from. You're going to wonder where your next paycheck is going to come from because you haven't been paid for 3 or 4 months. And so you've got to be resilient, and you've got to trust the process, that if you've been hardworking, consistent and followed the process, then you have every right and every reason to be resilient, because you know that stuff will come through in the end. And those are the traits that I've seen to being a successful self-employed agent anywhere. The key with eXp is that we've seen the most successful agents in the UK. We are the most successful model per head of agent in terms of listings per head of agent per month. We are the largest. We have the biggest referral network, and so you've got the biggest and best opportunity to build your business, grow your business and scale your business with eXp. So if you're ready to go ahead, you can either do one of 2 things. I would suggest you get in touch with the person that sent you this video or that introduced you to eXp. and maybe they'll show you a little bit under the bonnet. They might show you the loop system, they might show you workplace, they might show you some of the stats and figures we've got internally. So please feel free to reach out to an agent and do that. If you just want to go ahead, you simply go to join.eXp.uk.com, click on apply to become an agent and fill in your details, and one of the team will be in touch. That's it for me for now. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you found it useful. Bye for now.